and welcome back to our Magic the Gathering and Elden Ring Fusion channel. I'm Kurt.
And I'm Renard. Here we see what it looks like when Elden Ring and MTG Legends planeswalk into each other's worlds.
And this is the only place where Magic the Gathering Legends come to life with Elden Ring as the visual medium. And as always, we're hosting a full double feature.
Today, our deck is going to feature Varolz the Scar-Striped, representing the one and only Godrick the Grafted.
And in the second half of the show, watch Nahiri gear up for real-time combat as our custom invader. We'll see if she can hold her own against other players in her invasions.
Let's go to Stormveil Castle, home of Godrick the Grafted.
Alright, let's do it.
The true-born heir. Lend me thy strength, O kindred. Deliver me unto greater heights. Well. The lowly tarnished. Plain as a lord. I command thee now. I am the lord of all that is golden.
Alright, we made it to Stormveil Castle. Here we're gonna check out Godrick the Grafted.
Oh god, I'm so excited to do this. I love Godrick so much. This is going to be good. So, Godrick the Grafted, I think everybody's very familiar with the man. Giant of a man, weakest of the demigods. But his iconic thing is that he's grafted. Bunch of body parts. So, here what we're going to do is we're going to break him down, depicting him with Varolz the Scar-Striped. This is a Golgari legend from one of the earliest Ravnica sets, which is right when I started playing Magic, so this card is very near and dear to my heart. And we're going to talk about two abilities, primarily with this deck, that are so flavorful and so fun, and it's one of my favorite decks. So, Varolz, the Scar-Striped, is a 3-mana Golgari commander, so black and green. He's a Troll Warrior. He is a 2/2, and he says, each creature card in your graveyard has Scavenge. The Scavenge cost is equal to its mana cost. They haven't done Scavenge a whole lot outside of the Ravnica set, but basically what Scavenge says is that you exile a creature card from your graveyard and you pay its mana cost. Then you put a number of +1/+1 counters equal to that card's power onto target creature, and you can only do this at sorcery speed.
Yeah, so Scavenge is a pretty cool ability because you can use it to just take some things from here and there and graft a little bit on before you know it, you have a big giant threat.
Yes, and Godrick being like the king of grafting, this deck is 100% built around the Scavenge mechanic. There's a ton of creatures in it, and Golgari colors are the top line when it comes to filling your graveyard with everything.
Speaking of Golgari, I do see that we have the last ability on the bottom is a sacrifice to do one of my favorite abilities in Magic. It is Regenerate. And not very many people use Regenerate anymore, but I still think it's a great ability.
It does catch some people, and like I think I mentioned before that some of the newer cards in Magic don't come with that clause that says cannot be regenerated like certain cards do. Like I think Damnation still reads that it does. It has the cannot be regenerated.
There's just so few out there.
Yeah, so it has some relevance, but it also does act as a sack outlet too, which is helpful.
And talking Golgari, since we're talking Color Pie, let's get into that.
Right, so explaining why Godrick is Golgari. Black, because Godrick is really a selfish individual. We're going to have a card to represent that. But going into his lore, he's always wanted more power. He's wanted to be stronger, to be respected.
And he grafts all those extra arms and limbs onto himself.
Yep, all the body parts and everything that are when it comes to grafting are used from the bodies of dead tarnished. And so that whole sacrificing others and everything that you can get your hands on to increase your strength and power is exactly what Varolz does, and it's exactly what black likes to do in general. And green is always just going to be representing, might is right. The bigger and stronger the creature, you're going to win. That's what it wants to do. And there's also a bit of a natural life-death cycle that the two colors share. And you get that with the grafting mechanic, because obviously one life is taken, and then its remains are used to embolden the life of Godrick.
And Golgari is really great at using the graveyard, but one of my favorite things about it is it undoes death.
Yes, there is. So we're going to touch on the little bit of reanimation that makes me love this deck so much.
So with that being said, then what is the first card that we have to go in our wonderful Godrick the Grafted Varolz deck?
Okay. So, in looking at Elden Ring lore, the grafted Scions and the Wraiths, pretty much hand-in-hand, same thing, they weren't really a thing prior to Godrick becoming the Lord of the Graft. But they are just an amalgamation of different body parts made into these terrifying horrors that are one of my least favorite things to fight in the game. But the magic card I'm using to represent that also plays really, really well thematically with the deck is Overlord of the Baelmerk.
Oh yeah, absolutely. It looks like one of the Wraiths.
It is horrifying. They did a lot of really cool art in the whole 1980s horror themed set. Yeah, Dustborn was really fun. So Overlord of the Baelmerk is a mono black 5-color avatar horror that is an enchantment creature, and it has Impending 5. And Impending was one of the newer abilities in Magic. It kind of plays similar to Suspend, which is an older mechanic.
Yeah, but they turned it on its head, and they let you anticipate the impending doom, which that's a lot of fun, and I think they picked a fun name to get what they were shooting for.
Yeah, I think they did a really good job with it, and it does have, it allows the ETB effect of everything. So with the impending cost on this one, you would pay 2 mana, casting it for its impending cost, put it onto the battlefield.
Oh, and we're invaded by a recusant Marston.
Want to hear? He or she didn't want to hear about impending. Okay, that's.
Well, I think we can actually continue on because we're in quite an inaccessible
Oh, they're right there.
spot.
What are you talking about?
Whoa, on the thing. Whoa, how did that happen? Hey.
Well, I'm sorry, everybody, but this is about to get very ugly in a very small area.
Okay, let's see what happens.
Let's do it.
I feel bad.
I don't at all. You came to the dance party.
Yeah, I think you won that dance party.
As I was saying, it was well done, Marston. That was a really ugly spot to be in, but we were all here for it.
That was surprising. Okay, so we were talking about the Overlord of the Baelmerk, correct?
Yes, the Grafted Scions. So impending, you pay the impending cost, you slap this thing down as an enchantment, and at the beginning of your end step, you remove a time, I think they have their time counters, you remove a time counter from it, and then when the last one is removed, it becomes the creature, an enchantment creature, which would be, it would be a 5/5 at that point. But the nice thing about the Overlords is they have this, their abilities are all whenever they enter or attack. And specifically, Overlord of the Baelmerk is whenever it enters or attacks, you mill 4 cards, then you may return a non-avatar creature card or a planeswalker card from your graveyard to your hand.
That's a pretty good ability because it's taking the Overlord of the Baelmerk and making him essentially deathless, right?
In a sense, yeah. The best thing about the strategy for this card is that this is a graveyard deck / a Voltron deck, and I mean you're gonna see there's a lot of different ways to win in this deck, but I think the easiest one will be, if you're going full on Godrick theme, is just scavenge all the body parts of creatures you're gonna have in the graveyard, put them on Godrick, and just go ham on somebody.
Yeah.
And so the Grafted Scion card here, Overlord of the Baelmerk, beautiful card, nice art.
It is. This is one in particular we're talking about. The
I think it's the showcase art.
Yeah, the showcase, beautiful looking foils that they had.
Yeah, it was very nice, very nice. So that was the main one there. Next thing when it comes to Godrick is...
Well, let me just set the scene for you. Halfway through his fight, he goes into his transition mode and he finds his closest dragon friend and happens to relieve him of his head. Right, so that's actually what we're going to get into, is that dragon itself. Which dragon would he have used, right? So in this case, we have Deathbringer Regent.
Yes.
This is a 5 colorless and 2 black, so this is a lot for a dragon. 7 is a lot of mana.
Yeah, it's a mono black dragon, 7 mana for a 5/6 flyer. When it enters the battlefield, if you cast it from your hand, Godrick also cast it from his hand in a way, and there are 5 or more other creatures on the battlefield, destroy all other creatures. So this is going to be a one-sided board wipe that would almost kill your Godrick unless you sack something to regenerate it.
Yeah, it's funny because that dragon is coming through and ripping through everything that is on the battlefield, right? So it's kind of like all the pieces that were left over. You could go back and graft onto Godrick.
Yes, and Godrick has some of the best lines in the game, I feel like. And so I use this dragon to represent the bear witness line that he does in his cutscene, which is amazing, because this is literally going to be just bear witness to this dragon that is now being added into the fight. And so it acts like a little mini board wipe. It's another creature, and later on, if you need to, you can graft this thing out of your graveyard.
Yeah, for 5 power, that's pretty good.
Yeah, I mean, 7 mana to put 5+1/+1 counters on something, it's fairly on curve. It's not, crazy, but it's something that you can at least do.
Yeah, it's fun because my favorite part is thinking about which dragon is the one he would have grabbed. So Deathbringer Regent fills that void in a very satisfying way.
Yes.
But then I believe we had, I don't want to spoil it for you.
But one character who you're going to get to know in Elden Ring when you come across Stormveil Castle is a little guy by the name of Gatekeeper Gustoc. And he is literally just that in the game. He just is the gatekeeper to Stormveil Castle. Basically a servant to Godrick. But the magic card that I chose to represent him is Old Rutstein.
Old Rutstein. This was an inspired choice.
Yes, love this card. It's very simple. It's a 3 mana Golgari human peasant that's a 1/4. And it says, when Old Rutstein or Gatekeeper Gustoc enters the battlefield or at the beginning of your upkeep, you mill a card. If a land card is milled this way, create a treasure token. If a creature card is milled this way, create a 1/1 green insect creature token. If a non-creature, non-land card is milled this way, create a blood token.
This is so perfect for Gustoc because he's constantly trying to take his little bits wherever he can. So when you actually die in Stormveil Castle while it's still active, Gustoc steals runes from you when you die. So he's basically looting all these bodies so he can steal their little treasures and the little trinkets and stuff, and Old Rutstein is basically mirroring.
Yes, he's kind of like the little manager to help, I think he takes like 10 or 20% of your runes when you die in the castle. But, he served Godrick, so he's going to be scavenging bits of your body for things to then graft onto Godrick. And this was just a fun, easy card to kind of represent that. And I really like the milling of a blood token or the milling possibly creating a blood token, because I don't feel like blood tokens have a lot of love. I wanted to love them, but I just I don't like them as much as I wished I could.
Oh, if they ever do anything in the future with them, I think there's room to grow.
Yeah, but they're nice because they're just pay 1 mana, tap it, sack it, and discard a card to then draw a card, which in this deck you're going to want to fill your graveyard. So having a blood token is nice.
And with that being said, Leyline Axe. It's a 4 colorless artifact equipment. If this card is in your opening hand, you can begin with it on the battlefield. And an equipped creature gets +1/+1 and has double strike and trample. Equip cost of 3. But I really enjoyed this pick because his axe, his double-sided axe, is so iconic. I'm so glad you could represent that with something pretty feasible.
Yeah, Leyline Axe is a newer card, and I feel like it's pulling its weight pretty well. I mean, anything that can put itself onto the battlefield for free is something to pay attention to. And Godrick technically does fight with 2 axes, but he's just got 1 special one, so the double strike is helpful to represent that. And I mean, you're not going to have anything super crazy if you just slap this on to Godrick or Varolz, and naturally you just get a 3/3 trample double strike. But that's still fine.
That is nothing to scoff at.
No, I mean, it's definitely fine, because it's not going to take long in this deck to, graft a few things that you've scavenged out of your graveyard onto him, and then all of a sudden you've got a legitimate threat.
Oh, and when he gets big, you've always got that sacrifice another creature : clause. So you can sacrifice another creature to keep your guy alive. Now, granted, that's not going to save you from sacrifice effects or exile or anything like that, but for the general idea of a board wipe, it's a pretty useful ability.
Yeah, regenerate is old school, but like I said, it's still relevant.
Yeah, agreed.
The next card that I want to showcase for this is Camp.
Now, why would you take a Fallout card of all things? You're going to have to justify this for us.
Camp itself is a 3-mana artifact fortification. And I think there's only like 2, maybe 3 cards in all of Magic that do fortify. And what it is you basically pay 3 and equip the fortification to a land. Kind of like using an equipment to a creature. And then it gives the land an additional ability. For this one, Camp, whenever the fortified land is tapped for mana, put a +1/+1 counter on target creature you control. If that creature shares a color with the mana that land produced, you're going to want to target black and green in this instance, create a junk token. The junk token is a token that just lets you tap it, sacrifice it, exile the top card of your library. You may play that card this turn, activate only at sorcery speed.
Now, can you explain to us why that translates over?
The junk token is just something that's just there. That was irrelevant. The camp itself, I wanted this to represent Stormveil Castle, because Godrick flees from the capital after the shattering and hides out in Stormveil Castle, which outside of actual Lendel capital in Elden Ring, Stormveil Castle is massive, and it is extremely well fortified. And visually, it's one of the more stunning, I would say.
It's actually my favorite dungeon in the entire game, because it is a straight up castle that you get to explore.
Yeah, it is very fun. There's a lot of detail that's put into it, and I mean, it's so iconic and important to Elden Ring that, I mean, in the game's DNA, I guess we'll say, the schematic, like Stormveil Castle, it exists itself as one like mini world because of just how immense it is. And so I liked using Camp to represent that, because even when Melania came marching south to, basically conquer everything, granted, she shows mercy to poor little Godrick, but his castle alone is a serious fortification.
Yeah, he fled. He fled to outrun Melania and Radahn's wrath.
Yeah, and I mean, this is a castle that he managed to hide in, because of how big it is. So, and Camp is easy, because like I said...
Yeah, it worked out really well, because a camp obviously is in the same vein of a structure for war.
Yeah, and like I said, you're going to tap your lands for mana, so why not just get a free +1/+1 counter on your commander you're trying to make bigger? And then, speaking of his fleeing the capital...
All right, well, this one's a particular favorite of mine. This one is Swiftfoot Boots.
Staple.
Oh yeah, absolutely. But then in this particular case, the Swiftfoot Boots, well, we'll read it. It's a 2 colorless artifact equipment with equip cost of 1, but the equipped creature gets hexproof and haste. And so that's what we're doing here, is we're actually showing that hexproof, because Swiftfoot Boots is the Mimic Veil in Elden Ring, and the Swiftfoot Boots are the Mimic Veil, right? It keeps him safe from Melania and Godrick when he ran. So he transformed into another object to hide from the other demigods. He's basically a big baby bitch.
Yeah, I mean, Godrick needs all the help he can get. He's got to cover himself. He's got to hide. He's got to graft more things onto him. He's not the strongest. We know this.
And you know he was feeling hasty when he was running.
Yeah,
hiding.
I probably would too if I was a lowly person in Lendel with all the demigods running around trying to kill things. So it makes sense. But Swiftfoot Boots is also a classic commander staple. And, I mean, you're going to run it in your deck if you're trying to protect your commander.
Well, what do we got next?
Next is, again, referencing the one-liners that Godrick has in the game. When you first meet him, he's going to command the kneel. And I love it. It's very...
I command the kneel.
It's an intimidating line, and when he slams that axe down, I almost did. I almost said, I'm not even going to bother fighting this dude. There's too many arms, I'm good. But...
it's pretty scary.
It is. And so I chose to use Gix's command to represent the command the kneel ability that is actually on the axe itself in the game, and is his one-liner. And this is a 5-mana black sorcery. Again, it's called Gix's command. Command the kneel. There's your little one-shot.
We've got our connection, but the card actually works for what we're trying to do.
It does. So when you cast it, you have choose 2. Put 2+1/+1 counters on up to 1 target creature. It gains lifelink until end of turn. Or destroy each creature with power 2 or less. Or return up to 2 creature cards from your graveyard to your hand. Or each opponent sacrifices a creature with the highest power among creatures they control.
And this is another one of those cards that I like because it's just straight value when you got this many options on there.
We're invaded by a big guy. Don't do it. Don't do it. He's got a lot of poison. Like a lot of poison. My goodness. Oh, I fell.
Uh-oh.
I died. How did I die? What just happened? I don't think I took damage from that fall, but I apparently did. Good luck, sir.
Oh, and I got him with 2 Stormblades.
What was his name? I didn't even catch his name. He snuck in. Scourge of something.
Well, it was a good fight. Verticality was intense.
Scourge of Enzis has died.
Oh, cool name, too. All right, we'll have to get back together again. All right, well, we got him.
You got him. Gravity got me. But that's all good.
We were talking about Gix's command.
Yeah, see, Godrick commands the kneel anywhere in Stormveil Castle, and I kneeled way too hard. But Gix's command, as we said, has a multitude of choices. The ones that I always like using, for the most part, would be putting 2+1/+1 counters on him, giving it lifelink, just to give you a little bit of buffer.
Whenever you need in the moment, to be honest.
Yeah, and then destroying each creature of power 2 or less. There's just a lot of value. That's what it is. Then this is my favorite part. In terms of the cards we've added. This is kind of a 2-part. So we have Convergence of Dominion and Embalmer's Tools. Both of which are artifacts. Both do kind of the same thing for what this deck wants.
Yes, two peas in a pod here, right?
Yes.
Because what we're really looking to do is reduce our scavenge cost.
Right. You're going to fill your graveyard, and you're casting all your creatures for their actual mana cost. And in my deck list, a lot of this, just if you have Convergence of Dominion on the battlefield alone, a good chunk of your scavenge costs are really going to be 1 or 2 mana tops. And you're going to get an insane amount of value for it. So Convergence of Dominion, 3-mana artifact that came out in the Warhammer set that was in the Necron deck.
Which surprisingly feels on theme for this particular Golgari breakdown.
Yes. So the card states, as long as you control your commander, activated abilities of cards in your graveyard cost 2 colorless less to activate. This effect cannot reduce the mana in that ability's activation cost to less than 1 mana. And then it has a pay 3 colorless, tap it, and mill 3 cards, which again, helpful for filling your graveyard.
Yeah, so this one being a reduction cost of 2 colorless.
Yep. Which, like I said, most of the creatures in my deck list, this puts them down to a 1-2 mana value.
And the other card, though, we were talking about was
Embalmer's Tools, which is a 2-mana colorless artifact that says activated abilities of creature cards in your graveyard cost 1 colorless mana less to activate, or 1 generic mana less to activate. And it also has the phrase of tap an untapped zombie you control, target player mills a card.
Now, that's not going to be very relevant with Varolz because he's a troll warrior.
Yeah, and I don't think I have any zombies in my deck list at all anyway.
So between Embalmer's Tools and Convergence of Dominion, I think you're going to be happy with the reduction on your scavenge.
Yeah, it's just a huge value.
So with that being said, we have our next card is going to be Fire Shrieker.
Yes.
For those of you unfamiliar, this is an old staple. This used to be the only way to give something double strike.
Yep. It's 3-mana artifact equipment. The equipped creature has double strike and equips for 2.
Nice and simple. Not much to explain here except why we like it.
Well, this is the actual Bear Witness ability and what you're going to face off against when you're fighting Godric when he uses the dragon to breathe fire across the battlefield. And it is, again, just another way to give double strike to a big, beefy guy.
Yeah, and it's gonna hurt when Varolz hits as Godric. There's gonna be pain.
Like I said, this is a graveyard Voltron deck, and it's super fun.
Yeah. So to sum it up for the last card,
Not fully sum it up, but the last showcase card is a land. It's called Llanowar Reborn. It enters the battlefield tapped. It taps for 1 green, and it has Graft 1 because I'd be doing a disservice if I didn't have anything with the graft mechanic for Godrick the Grafted. All it means is that this land enters the battlefield with a +1/+1 counter on it, and whenever a creature enters the battlefield, you may move a +1/+1 counter from this land onto it, it being the creature. Graft, I tried playing around with other cards that had Graft. Didn't really like any of them, and most of the Graft mechanics are blue and green.
Yeah, and this one, honestly, works just because it slots right in so easily.
Yeah, again, it's almost like camp in a way where it's a free, simple land that can give you a +1/+1 counter for not doing a whole lot of extra stuff.
Well, hey, at the end of the day, don't forget to add in your little effects like this, because these little things here and there, when you can't draw a card or you can't get a +1/+1 counter, having all these little utility lands offer you that, they really do add up in the end.
Right. And so the last thing that I have to talk about with this deck and why I love it so much is because it allowed me to play with my favorite mechanic in Magic, and that is Dredge. Dredge is so fun, and it is so on theme for Godric.
And what is Dredge again?
Dredge is on a number of different cards, between creatures, 1 or 2 sorceries, and enchantment. But what it says is, if you would draw a card while a card that has Dredge is in your graveyard, instead you mill and a determined number of cards, which is on the Dredge mechanic itself. You mill that many cards and return the card that has Dredge to your hand instead. So it's kind of like drawing from your graveyard. The very iconic one is Life from the Loam, which is a 2-mana green sorcery.
Oh yeah, you play the card, you get the effect, and then it's in your graveyard. So now instead of drawing, you can just fill your graveyard at ease and then get you that Dredge.
And it's so fast. And with the number of creatures in this deck, you're dredging up the dead Tarnished to then graft onto Godric. And this deck fills its graveyard so fast. I mean, I'm running pretty much everything that has Dredge except for a few cards that I took out. And then there's just creatures with Scavenge. And I mean, you get double duty on this as well, because if you want to keep your dredgers in the graveyard, if you need to, you can technically scavenge them, but then you lose the ability to just dredge and keep going and going and going. And it's just amazing, and I love Godric, and this deck is so much fun.
So we talked about a few cards, mainly about how Godric rips his dragon's head off, puts it onto his arm, and breathes fire from it, and how all of these cards bring that to life.
Yes. I think the showcase for Godric is very straightforward. Voltron, you just look for different ways to pump them up.
Oh, we're grafting. We're getting those arms and those fingies.
Oh yes, every creature. And there was so many cool creatures I did not know about in Magic. When I looked in here, there's a 3-mana, 8/0. I had no idea that was a creature. It's a green that's like savagery something. I'd have to look it up again.
Yeah, you have to increase the toughness for it to exist.
Yeah, but that's an easy one. With the right things, you pay 1 green and put 8 counters on Godric. have at it. Like, it is so fun. Love this deck.
Yeah, I really enjoy Godrick. I like what you did with him, and he's one of his dungeon is my favorite, being Stormveil Castle. But hey, with Godrick knocked out, it's time to go check out our invasions for this episode. Let's move over to a volcano area. How's that sound?
Nahiri the Lithomancer.
Let's do it.
Alright, we're outside of Mount Gelmir. We're going to be showcasing Nahiri the Lithomancer. We're going to be talking about Nahiri Forged in Fury. I love it.
Nahiri Forged in Fury is my favorite of all the Nahiri Planeswalker cards because she just straight up looks like a badass.
Yeah, it showcases pretty much everything about Nahiri that we know from all of Magic's lore. Like her ability to carve deadly weapons out of stone and lava.
So Nahiri is known for her magma and rock control abilities. We call that lithomancy.
Correct.
Right, so she being a lithomancer is all about magma, fire, and maybe some eruption. For her main sword, we have the Stone Forged Blade, and then we also have the Magma Blade.
Difficult weapons to get. In terms of its drop rate, at least.
Yeah, for sure, 1% drop rate, but it is a very cool sword, and it is Nahiri's sword.
The magma sorceries are some of the most beautiful sorceries in Elden Ring visually. I love the effects. Oh, that's just beautiful.
Yeah, it's a very cool sword, this being the Stone Forged Blade.
Yes, her iconic blade that she's always depicted with in pretty much every one of her magic arts. It's her creation, her private sword that she carved using just her heart and soul out of the rock. And she makes it a molten blade whenever she gets a little testy, we'll say.
And I like using, in this case, we're going to have Sword of the Animist. And that's because our Eruption ability creates all of this lava magma that is like creating land. In Sword of the Animist, it says whenever you attack with the equipped a creature, you create land, you go get land and put it out. So it's not just the sword, it's also the curved sword as well with the magma shout. You see, we're actually creating land whenever we attack.
It hurts, but yes, you are. And I mean, the Sword of the Animus is another iconic card for any commander deck, so if you're building around any of the Nahiris, you're going to have that card in there.
Yeah, and it's pretty neat to look at some cards to show how strong Nahiri is as well. So we wanted to look at both Nahiri's lithoforming and Nahiri's resolve. And that's because these actually show us how she uses her lithoforming to do the damage, how to wield it. And Nahiri's lithoforming, she's basically pushing herself up with the magma and like rotating it and churning it and turning it into what she wants because she wields the power of a volcano.
Yes.
Right? Nahiri's.
We don't talk about Nissa here. There's no green mana allowed.
Excuse me. Nahiri's lithoforming just shows you her raw power, and that's kind of like the lava side of it. But she's also got stone powers, and that's where Nahiri's resolve shows us her raw mastery over the rocks around her. She can sharpen and use magma, heat them up, and use them to slice people up.
You're right. Nahiri is. You're going to use magma sorceries. You're going to be using some rock slinging. You can even spice up a little bit of gravity sorceries if you so choose. but I love everything about your build for Nahiri. Between the weapon choices, the look. I didn't even know that set of armor was a thing. I knew about Jaren's pants. I love that. But I had no idea about that. The rivet armor, is that what you said it was?
Yes, the iron rivet armor. But when you look at, and we'll get into it more about the art, but it has the yellow and reds that Nahiri is known for having. But since we've done our introduction for Nahiri, you know what she is, you know what she's about. Let's see what she can do in battle. Alright, in the first invasion we find ourselves in Limgrave.
Home sweet home.
Well, Nahiri's ready to get down for a fight. Looks like our host is also a single. Probably taunter-tongued.
It's nice to see a little one-on-one action here every once in a while.
Let's see what Nahiri's going to bring to the table.
I'm sure it's going to be spicy.
And a parry right off the bat. Beautiful.
It's a very tanky build. And you gotta be pretty good to consistently use the parry. But he does have a little bit of an advantage because your sword is really slow, so it's pretty easy to read it coming.
It is. I'm a little laggy too. I'm not reading it right, so I keep getting hit by these.
But this is... oh, and sleep. That's fun. That little short sword of his has more range than I was giving it credit for.
Now that we got a good feel for what's going on, and their sleep bot to the face. Good job with those.
Yeah, I've wanted to play around with them, but I just haven't yet. But they look pretty effective. They at least definitely disrupt things.
Let's see what we can really do. Time for the fire sword.
This is real Nahiri.
Oh yeah, rock sling. She's a lithomancer.
What would be really cool is if Rock Sling actually had like a little bit of a lava effect to it, just naturally, so it could do like a little bit of fire damage too.
Yeah, and you notice that rain of embers we just had. Or rain of fire, excuse me.
It's nice to kind of use too if you're not targeting on somebody, because it will just rain around you.
Lava in your face. This is a good fight.
It is. Time to use that magma curve sword.
He's really aggressive. Oh, and caught him with the roundabout. Oh, good fight.
That's what's tricky with the curve swords. They have a lot of curve on that reach.
You see that magma was getting some good damage across.
Yeah, I like it. That was good. Very good.
Yeah, that was a great first invasion for Nahiri. I'm a big fan of her lava abilities, especially that a little bit of lava to the face. It can really throw people off.
You are very good at luring people in with that thing.
Alright, well, how about we go to our special spot for the second invasion?
Oh yes, let's do it.
And welcome back, everybody. Here we are inside the Bestial Sanctum. This is our special spot.
It's very cozy in here. I see you brought your glow sticks.
Oh, yeah. You gotta love that sword slash.
Very good, very good. I love it.
When Nahiri got to the Lands Between, she found a buddy in Godrick. Godrick is known for his stonework or his stone fighting style. And Nahiri, being the lithomancer, she can use Stone of Godrick or Bestial Sling in the middle of combat.
Yeah, you both like throwing rocks, so this all makes sense.
Yeah. So, since we're talking about Nahiri, we have to talk about what a Stoneforge Mystic is.
So, the Stoneforge Mystic card from Magic is one of the older cards. It's been reprinted a few times, but it is the first depiction of Nahiri in Magic, technically speaking, although they didn't give her the name of Nahiri. But it does set the precipice for what all different art depictions of Nahiri becomes throughout the years of Magic. And very close to what you have. I don't think there's anything in Elden Ring that could be any closer to her overall look than what you went with.
Yeah, I was pretty happy with that. I also like in the artwork for Stoneforge Mystic how they actually get the sword to form, and it's essentially just compression of rock until they superheat it with their magma powers. I thought that was a really interesting thing for any kind of magic wielding person to have. They really got creative with the rules with Nahiri, and I really like what they turned out.
Yeah, it's, she just, in using her powers, she was just able to form the sword you're holding in her mind and basically smelt it within rock and creates the magma weapons that you're wielding.
Oh yeah, the magma weapons are fairly strong here too, especially when you wear the Talisman of the Dread to boost up the potency of your magma. And since I'm running 2 magma swords, it's also nice to have this increased damage as well with Rotten Wing sword insignia. Yeah, and speaking of Nahiri's inspiration, we've got Nahiri the Harbinger.
This is my favorite art of Nahiri by far, all throughout Magic. So we're going to shout out to Aleski Briclat for this artwork it's originally from the Return to Innistrad, I believe, or Shadows of Innistrad, something like that.
Yeah, he did a great job with the art, and I really like how you can see the face and kind of what her clothes are made of as well.
Yeah, and it's the background is, without getting into the details of her story, I guess what's going on there, but it is just a snippet of how powerful she is at just rearranging anything that's made of stone, and her destructive abilities are pretty much unparalleled in Magic's lore. And as you're just ripping up the floor in Gronk's house. So I mean, it's, like I said, it's my favorite artwork. It's a very powerful card, and it represents Nahiri in, I think, the best fashion.
Yeah, and for just a little lore tip for everybody, Nahiri and Sorin are known for beefing pretty hard because of how Zendikar went with the Eldrazi. But in this particular art, this is very reminiscent of the time Nahiri went to Innistrad and just messed Sorin's place up.
Yeah, she does destroy Markov Manor and rearranges it. And strangely enough, it does look a lot like Farah Missoula in Elden Ring. If you can imagine just a castle that gets ripped into pieces and is floating all over the place, and bodies getting sucked into stone to be petrified for life and tortured. It's crazy. A lot of crazy things happen.
Yeah, this card turned out very well, especially with translating her into Elden Ring. But with that, we also have Nahiri the Lithomancer. Now this is another a card that we use to determine the art to translate Nahiri into Elden Ring.
Yeah, and this was the actual official first art of Nahiri, where they gave her the name Nahiri the Lithomancer, and
the actual core herself.
Yeah, and that's where, again, if you look at the 2 artworks, the Stoneforge Mystic and Nahiri the Lithomancer, you'll see the correlation, and that's just been who she is and what she's going to look like going forward. But this card, I really like this card too, because it's the only Magic card that actually gives you the token that is the Stoneforge Blade that she created. But it's also just kind of, it's got a soft spot for me because this was actually the very first Commander Precon deck I ever bought, was the mono white Nahiri like artifact equipment deck when it came out. I think like in 2013, I think. I want to say is when, 2014 is what the card shows, I guess. But that was the deck back then. I mean, it wasn't great by any means compared to today, but it is another very good artwork that shows Nahiri. And
I like how in the backdrop you can also see the hedrons on her home plane of
Zendikar. Yeah, everything's floating in Zendikar. It's just a wild, adventurous place.
Yeah, well, with these 3 cards, it gives us a good idea of where she comes from and kind of who she is. Right? She is a rage-filled, Sorin-killing, Zendikar protecting lady.
She didn't kill Sorin. No, let's just get that straight. Sorin's not dead.
Yeah, she could though.
Team Sorin all day here, because vampires. Oh, we've been invaded by Bloody Finger Twin Bros 09.
Nice. How about a little Golden Vow? How's that sound?
Do you think he's gonna want to actually come inside here?
Oh, I don't know, but we can make it happen.
I don't want to get that gargoyle involved. Oh, there he is. I'm gonna hide in case he didn't see me. Oh God, he's gonna use this Rivers of Blood shit.
Oh, well, if you know it's coming, just dodge it. Oh, he's on the lane.
Oh, okay. I imagine a lot.
Yeah, that was a lot of magma, my friend. Yeah, you can go over there. Don't hit Godrick.
Honestly, I think if I just stay next to him, I can keep running him.
This is where it's gonna hurt. Ooh, we backed up to Godrick. Good call.
He knows the game.
Well, I know the game too, and I like Blessing of the Earth Tree.
Here he comes.
Gotta.
It's a dangerous place to invade. For him and for us, really.
Oh yeah, good job, Twin Bros 09. You were really sticking around Godrick. That made it tough for us. Oh yeah. Alright, well, that's a perfect time to go into the second invasion, if you ask me.
Yeah, let's see how Nahiri does when she goes on the offensive.
Let's check it. Alright, we're in Prospect Town. I enjoyed this little area of the bleed trolls.
This is another one of those areas that looks like Nahiri's been here.
Yeah, she's known for wrecking places.
Yeah, she just did not like this temple at all and said, I'm gonna wreck it all.
Yeah, it's another cool looking area for Nahiri to kind of showcase her power.
It is a fun place to do some invasions too. I think we had done an invasion here a while ago, I think, when you were helping me get through the DLC. It does just make the battlefield a little bit... I mean, and that incremental damage from just being in the magma is very nice.
Yeah, it's helpful chip damage, I think.
I think they could probably up the damage a little bit, because it's not really long to sit inside it, but...
I just know that when I see Nahiri, I better see a trail of magma behind me.
Yep. What is kind of nice about the build is that it, because of the fire and the magma up close, it's kind of a deadly fight, but with the rock slinging abilities and you being able to throw your pots, she has a lot of range that can be a little tricky to deal with.
Let's see if she can jump this gold. Rolled it. Okay, we got to isolate because these two guys are spamming range and AoE attacks.
Thankfully that golden wave cannot just fly across the place.
That thing's got range.
It does, it's very good.
And the lightning bolt as well.
Big mistake was coming into a tiny area when the magma's flying.
Nope. And we dodged the wave of gold too. Okay.
That spell.
That is a battle of two ashes of war.
And the nice thing is he took the damage for just being stuck inside that magma.
Trying to free aim it. Get him, Nahiri. And now some roiling magma bombs to see if he can dodge them. And he did. And he put lightning in the face.
Well, he still got hit. That spell is so funny to me because you see it coming from a mile away, yet the explosion radius just kind of tricks people, and the timing.
Boom, jump through the wave of gold, catch him with the magma shower, and he's getting dangerous, and we're out. See you later, bud.
It was either fall to your death or bathe in magma. It's kind of a lose-lose. That was a good battle, though. I like that.
I'm a big fan of the magma. I had a lot of fun playing around with chip damage. Well, how about we go set up for our third and final invasion?
Yeah. Should we hit Godrick this time?
No, please don't.
I'm on it.
Please don't.
I'm on it.
We made it back to Volcano Manor with Nahiri and Fatima.
May have just beat up on a worm. can either confirm or deny. Don't worry about the blood all over my dress.
We only have 2 cards left for you. First off, we got Lithomantic Barrage. And this is a fun one because this one actually references Nahiri's ability to supercharge her Hedrons and send them on down, floating from the sky. And with that, you can do a little bit of an AoE control. And it's pretty reminiscent.
I love the spell Rain of Fire, and there's a lot of different cards in Magic that you can use that represent just doing a lot of essentially low level damage across the board. But Lithomantic Barrage is a really good one. It does depict Nahiri in the artwork, and she is just flinging lava rocks down on people. I mean, we put her here in Volcano Manor, and good lord.
Yeah. Well, that leads us to Nahiri Storm of Stone. That's our last major showcase card of the day, and this one was really, again, because of art and her ability to use lithomancy.
Yeah, it's one where you can see like her actual rage, and it's one of the Planeswalker cards from the Planeswalker, the War of the Spark set, but it is just a good one, and it does highlight the equipment abilities for her, and being able to fling stones, which you can do with the Rain of Fire as you're showcasing, and also the Garronk, whatever it's called, the Garronk Rock Throw.
Yeah, Stone of Garronk.
There you go, the Stone of Garronk. I can't remember what it is.
Yeah, well, with the way that she looks, again, you can see the fury in it, and I like that about this card. Yeah, and actually I really like the uncommon Planeswalkers too. I like them much better than regular Planeswalkers.
I do like the Planeswalkers that have a static ability on them. That's really nice.
It feels like it gets across what they're trying to show us in the art.
Right. Yeah, right. Just because, a Planeswalker like Nahiri and even Fatima have just powerful natural abilities, so having a static effect is really, really nice. I would like to see more of that consistently.
Well, why don't we take a look at the last invasion?
Well, yeah, show us off what we got.
Hey, Castle Insis.
Hey, we were invaded by a guy from here.
This is a pretty fun spot to invade.
Yeah. Well, the last time we did actually have an invasion here, it did not go well.
Oh yeah, we lost.
Very badly. I got my ass beat by a dude with a book.
Hey, let's start it out with some magma. Did you see how much damage that did?
It was such a good shot from downrange.
Oop, no, thank you.
A little bit of madness around that corner.
Yeah, I'll pass.
I do love some madness.
Should we dare out this door? Oh, we've got a full team of 3.
That's rough.
And some more magma won't hurt.
And they've got the high ground.
Let me get it ready for him.
It appears that we have a fat Raiden.
Oh, caught up in the whip and the explosion went
It's
off.
a good combo. It's really good.
Alright, we better get out of here. Danger, danger.
We are in danger.
Clip, clip, clip.
Man, the fact that you got out of that is...
That's why you have to have 60 health, or 60 vigor as an invader. It's a must. And I got hit with 2 spells right there.
Yeah, that madness right there. Oh, you can see it. It's a long range. It's probably the longest range spell and incantation in the game, I think. And it does a significant amount of damage. And very little madness buildup.
Let's cut him off on top. There it is. Pot in the face.
Got the black blade going on. Death is destined for this group. That could be you, it could be this guy, it could be that dog.
Well, we're having a tough time. They're putting up a good fight.
Yeah, especially with the tricky terrain, a lot of up and down. But like a good invader, you're using all the enemies around you to your advantage, and there's a lot of them here. Everybody knows those dogs are annoying as hell.
She just carries that big-ass sword around like it's nothing. That's what I imagine Nahiri would be like.
Yeah.
You know I love the roiling magma.
It's, like I said, it's really good, and you're very good at using it. It is very tricky.
Okay, we'll set down some explosions for later.
There's that big old fireball. There's so much. Even the computer guys are like, nah. This is no.
Look at how much lava that is.
Yeah, just bathes the entire area, which is really nice.
They're apparently very timid around it, so... Oops, skull. I hate the skull. Skull Rancor, it's very tough to deal with. And I think we just exploded a few in the back.
Everybody got caught up in the wrong place, the wrong time.
Don't mind if I do.
Drops right into the eruption.
And this is a dangerous sword to be around.
Yep, the long swords. Oh no, oh no.
There he is, caught. Thing of beauty. Hey, good game. Good fight, my friend.
You fought honorably. All three of them. That was a good fight.
Castle Incis. Great spot to invade.
Beautiful use of your surroundings. That's what you got to do when you're invading and you're outnumbered. You got to try to use the other enemies in the game to your advantage.
Oh yeah, because if it's 3-on-1, you're screwed. You got to find a way to even the odds.
That there's no balance there in a 3-on-1. Even if you're just 3 brand new people to the game against somebody who's got a lot of skill, is about balanced. Maybe.
You ever wondered what Nahiri would look like as a Phyrexian?
The answer to that question should be yes to everybody, by the way.
Well said, my friend. Well, since we have it, let's take a look at Nahiri's warcrafting, as well as Nahiri as a Phyrexian herself.
Hashtag Phyrexia should have won. But this is... So the main thing with the artwork for Nahiri when she becomes a Phyrexian, without getting into the weeds of the Phyrexian lore for those who are unfamiliar with it, the cool thing is that she basically makes 2 copies of that Stoneforge blade that she has, and they just weld into her arms, and she's just like a scissor monster.
Oh yeah, we can just imagine 2 of these coming out of her arms.
Guy whipping, he's literally just whipping me. What? Damn, dude, calm down.
He doesn't like heavies.
He doesn't like my dress or something. Like, God, he got real angry.
Yeah, this sword messes him up, though. Sick sword. Hey, well, since we take a look at Phyrexian Nahiri, now we can go gouge out our own eyeballs and replace them with Phyrexian oil.
I mean, yeah, I guess if you really want to, but, I mean, if you're giving me the chance to be completed, I'm going to go take care of that right now.
Cool. All right, well, let's go back to Castle Sol Ring and shut it down for the day.
Yeah, it's getting hot up in here.
All right, everybody. That's another full day. 3 more invasions, a whole nother deck.
Another commander brought back to life.
Yeah, Varolz as Godrick was a ton of fun.
I love using Dredge. I love the scavenge ability. I love Godrick. I think it's one of my favorite builds. It'll probably continue to be my favorite build of all the ones we're going to do. It's just so fun.
Yeah, and then we really went into a pretty in-depth breakdown of Nahiri, I think.
Yeah, and Nahiri's got a lot of history. I mean, she's been around in Magic for ages. She's one of the oldest planeswalkers running around. So there's a lot to cover, but I think we did pretty good. Hopefully you guys enjoyed everything as far as the breakdown for Godrick. If you have other commanders that you think would be good options to represent Godrick in some way, shape, or form, I will say, just a caveat, because I think it'll eventually come up if somebody catches it, is after I already had this done, I'm pretty sure it's a Spider-Man set that has like a Venom that's been going to be released that would basically do something similar and also is very flavorful. Just as a caveat, I don't like to use... I try not to use characters that are not actual Magic characters, because it'd be too easy to be like, oh, well, Captain America would be good for this, or Spider-Man's good for that. I don't care. I honestly don't.
Well, I do like those cards. I like the Marvel characters, but it's just not for this show for lore purposes.
Right. I like doing a showcase that's talking about actual Magic characters and original design Magic cards, bringing original Elden Ring together to blend. I don't want to do a copy of, like, you know, I'm not going to pull Cloud from the Final Fantasy to be a representation of
some sword swinging person from Magic.
Somebody in Elden Ring. Right. No, I want wholehearted original Magic the Gathering content. that's not a crossover. But that's one of the reasons why I loved using Varolz for Godrick. I think it's a very good, flavorful pick. Obviously, there could be some other cards that maybe, Venom might be more your style. You might think it's more accurate. I don't know. But like I said, this is a caveat I wanted to bring up because I don't know if I had mentioned it before. But that's...
Hey, it's all good. And hey, if you guys want to see something in particular, maybe you guys do like Universes Beyond, and you want to see us do something with that, that's fine. Just send us a link on YouTube and we'll check it out.
Yeah, I mean, there's definitely an endless amount of possibilities with the customization in Elden Ring. I mean, if you haven't thought of doing Legolas in Elden Ring, you're crazy. Do it. But hey, feel free to comment your thoughts on the commander, on the Planeswalker build, and then any cards that you would have liked to see put in the deck, or any weapons or equipment you would have liked to see put into Nahiri, and give us your feedback. And anything that we get as far as subscriptions, we'll like and subscribe to them as always, and we'd love to just talk about them and, invite everybody to come join the party.
Yeah, and if you guys like the invasions, check out our channel to see more. We've got several builds, character builds that are attacking in a different type of way.
Yep, and we have plenty more on the way. And as always, like I said, we'll like and subscribe to any submissions that we get.
Yep, just make sure you follow the rules of engagement in the outro.
Until next time, this has been Castle Soul Ring. Stay warm out there, everybody.